Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of the prologue to A Game of Thrones. Our point of view character is a man named Will. He is a ranger in the Night's Watch, and he has been for the past 4 years since he was caught poaching on Mallister lands. Mallister is a lordly house in the Riverlands, one of the 7 kingdoms, or one of the 8 kingdoms, actually. I think there's 8 of them. Mallister is a decently prominent house in the Riverlands, and he was caught poaching in them. And he was given the choice of losing his hand or joining the Night's Watch. He was sent to the Night's Watch, and because he was pretty skilled tracker and hunter, and I guess because he was pretty silent, he was made a ranger. At this point, he is a veteran of over 100 rangings. The current one he's on is with a man named Garrett, who has been in the Night's Watch for the past 40 years. He's lost an ear, some fingers, toes, I think he mentioned, to frostbite. And Waymar Royce. He has not even been in the... Sir Waymar Royce. He has not even been in the Watch for 6 months, but he was given command because I guess he's the son of the current Lord Royce, and he's a knight. He's a noble. So I guess he take president or whatever. So they've been on this ranging for about 9 days, each one worse than the last. Garrett wants to pack it up and turn back, because their mission was to track the Wildling band and then report back. Well, Will saw them and he says they're dead. So Garrett wants to report back. They've done what they did. The Wildlings are dead, now to report back. And we get a name drop of Mormont, or whatever, I think, or the Lord Commander, who's the current Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. But Waymar wants to see the dead bodies himself to figure out what killed them, which is very fair. I feel like Waymar Royce is kind of an arrogant asshole this chapter, but also at the same time, he's making good points, and I feel like his points would be better listened to if he wasn't such an arrogant asshole. And maybe he should listen to both Will and Garrett, who want to turn back, because they are the veterans in this situation. He even states that he doesn't want he's doing this because he doesn't want his first ranging to be a failure, which is, no. Bad state of mind, I think. Garrett wants to turn back. I guess he's, feeling it. He's feeling the shit about to hit the fan, so he wants to go back while he's still alive. Waymar orders Will to bring him to where the bodies are so he can check them. And at this point, they're noticing the difference. Will points out his high-end clothes, stating he came here prepared, but also his inexperience, showing how he's riding a different type of horse that is not too well accurate, which isn't suited for what they're doing. He and Garrett are riding one horse, while Will and Garrett are riding one type of horse, while Waymar is riding a different one, which is not suited for the climate and the terrain, showing his, inexperience. And also, he disregards Will's advice of not taking a sword out, instead only using a dagger, because the sword would get caught in low-hanging branches, which is proven true moments later. Garrett wants to light a fire, but Waymar tells him no, stating that the enemies might see it, which, again, both men have good points. Garrett says The fire can also scare off other predators, while Waymer's worried about, like, wildling enemies. Both of them make good points. And also, Will brought up another point. He says, it's hard to take orders and give respect to someone who you've made fun of in the barracks while drunk. Which is very, very fair. So they get to where the wildlings are supposed to be, and they're gone. Disappeared like a fart in the wind, they did. So, I guess... So, Waymer sends Will up to the tree to give him a better vantage point, while these other beings, the others, end up coming out. And Will is scared, speechless. To Waymer's credit, and Will states this, he fights them. And I like this one the ending to the paragraph. It says, in that moment, Waymer Royce was a boy no more, but a man of the Night's Watch. He ended up fighting the other as best he could while the others watched. Others watched. But he was no use for it. They had different weapons. As Will stated, it sounded like a hiss type of thing when they hit, instead of a metal clang when their swords met. On like the 7th or something pass, Waymer's sword shattered, embedding in his eye and killing him. Will went down to check him, only for Waymer to come back as like a white or something and strangle him to death. Our final moments of this prologue is like the last moments before Will dies. I like kind of like the duology of this, or not so I don't know the word. There's two sides of the same coin. You have Garrett and you have Waymer both bringing up great points. Garrett, the veteran, I guess, is feeling it in his bones. This isn't normal. He wants to go back while he still can. But Waymer's also bringing up good points. What's the point of going back when they can't answer any of the questions? What happened to the wildlings? I don't know. Where are they? Well, I don't know that either. Why'd you come back? Well, Garrett got scared. I also do like that he did want to find out. He wasn't really so much as saying he didn't believe that they weren't dead, but he wanted to know why they died. And when Garrett tried to say they died of the cold, he proceeded to ask Will if the wall was weeping, what the wall was like, and if it was weeping. And when Will said it was weeping, the wall is made of ice, so it weeping means it's warm enough to start melting. So as Waymer said, nobody could freeze to death in that. And not that quickly, anyways. Especially not when they have fire, fur means for a fire and a shelter. I really like that George R. R. Martin put some kind of thought into character development for Will. Like, even though this will be the last time we ever see him again, we kind of feel like we know a good bit about him. He was a poacher, you know, we can infer he was like a Riverlander since he was on Mallister lands. You know, he's a good hunter, tracker, a veteran of 100 ranges. We don't learn enough, but we don't learn a lot, but we learn enough. Not enough to get attached, but, you know, enough to get a feel for Will as a character. Same with Garrett and Waymer Royce. We didn't learn a lot, but we learned enough to understand them as the characters they are. And the differences what they are. We also got some name drops, like for when Waymer was fighting the other, he said for Robert. We later learned this is King Robert, the king of Westeros. And Maester Aemon, he's the Maester of Castle Black. Maesters are healers, teachers, whatever they need to be. They're the scholars of the land. And I think we get the name drop of Mormont. We either get Mormont, the name directly, we either get the mention of the Lord Commander or Mormont. Which, Mormont is the Lord Commander, but I can't remember if they said the Lord Commander gave the order or Mormont gave the order. But Mormont is the Lord Commander. He's the 998th Lord Commander, and they are the leader of the Night's Watch. The Night's Watch is an order which guards technically 19 castles, but only 3 are manned. There's 3 subsections of the order. The Builders, who maintain the wall and its buildings, I guess. The Stewards, who, well, I guess, like, do the cooking, I guess the cleaning, the hunting, the farming. And all that. I think the Stewards do the most. Not to put down, like, the Builders and the Rangers, but I feel like the Stewards got a more depth of what they can be. Like, if you're a ranger, you're gonna go out, you're gonna range, you're probably a fighter. Or, a tracker. If you're a builder, you're a builder. If you're a steward, you could work with the horses, the dogs, the ravens. You could be a squire to this guy. You could be a squire to that guy. You can specialize in farming, hunting, you know? There's a difference. We don't learn any of this in this chapter, though. This is just, like, to explain what the Night's Watch is and what these men do. Also, you can join the watch of your own volition or because to escape punishment for a crime. Like if you committed rape, you, instead of getting castrated or executed, you could join the Night's Watch. If you committed murder, instead of getting hanged, beheaded, you could join the Night's Watch. If you committed thievery, instead of losing a hand or some fingers, you can join the Night's Watch. And that's basically what it is. It used to be, the Night's Watch used to be, I guess, like a noble order, which people would want to join of their own volition. Instead, it's come a cesspit of villainy and disorder, with the only people who actually join are from the northern region, the northern kingdom, who actually still join it for, like, honor and whatever. Very few people join this for honor, I guess. Like, most join to escape crimes. Most people don't want to join because to join it, you are supposed to be celibate. Part of the vows is, I shall take no wife, I shall father no children. Also, this is basically just this is a men's order. No women allowed. Overall, I felt like this was a good setup. It was basically just setting up our villains of the story. The others, I think. I'm assuming the others are the villains. It's gonna be wild if the Winds of Winter come out and they're not the villains. If the Winds of Winter ever comes out. I'd give this chapter about an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.